Well, now let's turn to this. Former First Lady Michelle Obama has been on quite the podcast spree these days, and it feels like she's airing her and, well, her own and President Obama's dirty laundry. Let's try to look at that.
Sometimes I get in the bed and I'm freezing.
Yes.
And other times it's like, oh my God, take my skin off.
It's like, the change in temperature is wild. For any woman, anytime, but especially
it's
this
a
age.
battle with a partner, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's always cold. And I'm like, do not touch. And sometimes I wake up hot and I'll wake him up. Did you touch the thermostat? You touched the thermostat, didn't you? He's like, it didn't, I swear to God. He now knows. He's afraid of the thermostat. I said,
yo, the level of emasculation from this woman is insane. I'm not even sure what the purpose is of her going on this whole podcast tour, what this building a platform is. I don't know if it's one of those things where you see black women a lot of times say that they have to have some kind of purpose. They want to leave their mark on this world. You know, it's not with the legal justice system. It's not working on behalf of freeing inmates that wasn't wrongly imprisoned. It's not some meaningful cause. It's her wanting to get her stuff off. That's what it just seems like, man. I genuinely don't understand, because everything that she talks about that is relevant has something to do with her husband. It's always what he don't like and how she disagree with him. It's somewhat emasculating. And I know that women that's going to cape for is going to say something different, but it is emasculating.
I don't care what you do. Do not touch anything in this room after I go to sleep.
Do you wear an eye?
You know what? I'm just not ready for that. No. I'm not ready to hear about her menopause and waking up hot. It's a lot. It's a lot for a First Lady. So I don't know if she's joking around or throwing shade at her husband. Question. Her latest comment to Airbnb CEO is certainly raising some eyebrows. Watch this.
You know, I have to say, Brian, if I'm a single girl out there and I find out that Brian Chesky is single and I can like stay in his house,
Here she
have
goes.
you ever?
Go right to the relationship,
ever,
Brian. You don't have to be feel pressured.
No, but we've never talked about this.
He just got here.
Have you ever?
Her and her husband have tried to set me up before, so
I'm very invested in Brian's love life.
It's almost like she's never been a first lady before. Like, she don't know that every single thing that she does is going to be scrutinized. Now, remember, other first ladies, they just get their bag, they be successful, they live off their life. She is very much a reflection of what we deal with every single day as regular human beings and regular men in the black community. Maybe not me, but most men. And it's unfortunate because I would have loved for her to be represented and to show herself to have a lot more class and have a lot more dignity. I remember when I seen Savannah James, and I always mention this because I think that Savannah James, LeBron James' wife, is the epitome of femininity, the epitome of holding it down, the epitome, like, regardless of how I feel about LeBron James' political statements or him endorsing Kamala Harris, I'm able to be objective enough to separate one issue from another. You know, what his performance is on a basketball court, from what his political stance is, from how it is that he projects himself to be a strong father in a household. They're all separate things, and I think that we need to separate them, even though they're pointing back to the same individual. And you don't often see women that play their role to a T. I mean, to a T. And it almost bothered me a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't be that emotionally invested in what somebody else's success is, but I am invested in what we are continuing to promote for the culture, because that is what's good for everybody, especially when it comes to setting the standard and having people meet expectations by how you live your life. You are an example to somebody no matter who you are. So when she had initially launched her podcast, I'm like, oh my God, here we go. And to her credit, she kept it very, very general, very, very tongue-in-cheek. Oh, man, I love my kids, or whatever, so on and so forth, which made for a very boring podcast, which is probably one of the reasons that it went away. Just be a mother. Y'all billionaires. You having a good time. You living life. It's awesome. But my point is that I didn't want her to say something to mess up our perception of her. And now of course, there's going to be some people that say, well, why should people care about what your perception of somebody else is? Well, that is part of the reason why you are popular. It's called popular culture. It's one of the reasons why you get elected. It's one of the reasons why you're influential, right? It's not just to make money. It would behoove me to think that Michelle Obama is doing this to make money. I would like to believe that she's doing it in order to make an impact or to have some kind of relevancy or to have a sense of purpose or doing something if she's doing it, because you can't convince me that it's for the money. They are already millionaires. Maybe she doing it for her brother, Craig. I don't even know. He don't even seem like he's relevant. I'm not sure if anybody is necessarily checking for Craig on this podcast. But my point is that it seems like at every turn, she takes an opportunity to either throw her husband under the bus or embarrass him by saying something that she shouldn't be invested in or emotionally invested in. Like, I think that there's levels. If I say something, then me as a regular YouTuber or whatever, so on and so forth, that's just, maybe you guys love me, or maybe 500,000 people have subscribed to me plus, or whatever it is that's subscribed on other platforms. But that's not as relevant as being a former first lady and the wife of a former president of the United States of America, who just so happened to be the first black president of the United States of America. The impact is much greater. And so you have a greater responsibility to meet an expectation. I may joke and I may have, have tongue-in-cheek jokes that may or may not be relevant. She's a bigger representation of a broader group of people, and the stereotype often at times is earned, it's not necessarily given. So now that people are starting to look at stuff and they'll say, oh yeah, she's just a modern woman. Oh yeah, she for the streets or whatever. Can you blame them? Can you blame them when they then say that most black women are emasculating or they masculine or, they embarrass their husbands or they always trying to compete or they're jealous of the visibility that came along with their husbands? You don't even really see Barack unless you see him at some point probably get hired for a speech or he has to pop out during election season. We don't even care for Barack anymore. I think his legacy is actually being negatively impacted every single day and every time he throws his support behind an issue that's not best for Americans. But you don't even really see him. He probably out somewhere busting something down, getting to it, doing what he do on a regular basis or whatever. You don't see him. You don't see him. You don't see the kids unless, they get spotted smoking a cigarette or something like that. She is the matriarch. She is going to be at the forefront of her family. And now she's telling you about how she rules the household. It's weird, honestly. In my opinion, I just think it's weird. So y'all can go ahead and check out our podcast and let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off of life. I'd love to know what you guys think about it. Do you think it's just tongue-in-cheek and that it's not really that big of a deal? Or do you think that it's embarrassing and she need to do better? If it was a man that was up there that had a prestigious job or a prestigious position or something like that, and he was embarrassing his family, we would be holding him accountable. But maybe since it's a woman, and we know that women don't necessarily embrace accountability, maybe because it's a woman that we give her a lot more grace as a culture. I don't give her any grace whatsoever. I think she should be held accountable. But people give her a lot more grace as a culture. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon again. And teach Henley 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. And then make sure y'all tune into the Millionaire Morning Show today. We're going to get it popping on a Saturday. So we looking forward to that. And life is good. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.